episode 15. I just changed video settings and it's still saying it's overloaded. So I'm sorry if it's stuttery, but that's just the way it is. We're starting with The Sun today on a 4-paper show. It's covering its Who Cares Wins awards again. Now I've spilt Diet Coke. This is amazing. Love it. Love it. It's starting. Yeah. Anyway, we're starting with the Sun again, which is awful. It's an awful paper. They've been covering the same. They've had the same awards coverage for about a week now. The Who Cares Wins Awards was put out on Channel 4 last night. So yeah, it says there's no drop frames. Everything's grand. Don't know why it's not working properly anymore. It used to be great. Then I introduced stream elements and it just fucked it basically. So yeah. Right, moving inside. On page 3, that isn't page 3, but is page 3. Lily Collins is there. She's wearing a bikini, and apparently that's a reason for us to care about that. Bear Grylls' friends claim that they don't want to have dinner with him because he eats grim stuff on TV, but actually it may be that they just don't want to spend time with Bear Grylls. Then we've got weird fat shaming of a sort of weird reverse fat shaming of Adele, like an obsession with her figure, still completely pathetic. And you know, you're going to see that across. You're going to see that across the whole of the media today. Yeah, I did. I turned the show off. I turned the show off in an attempt to fix the video settings, which I have no idea where they've stopped working properly, but there you go. Moving on, yeah, more coverage of the stupid Who Cares Wins Awards over 3 double-page spreads. Trevor Kavanagh is in here. He's awful. I do watch the show on YouTube after I've recorded it, if you prefer. It is not stuttery when you watch it on there. On page 13, they do coverage of John Challis, who has passed away. He born 1942, died 2021, so 79. Of course, famous for playing Boise in Only Fools and Horses, but he did other things too. On page 15, Rogered over and out. Police chief's bug motor. On-duty cops had sex in a patrol car. 2 cops ignored call-outs to a hospital and a burglary to have sex in their police car while on duty. Classic tabloid story there, isn't it? Do they deserve to have their faces put in the paper? Probably not. Thank you for those who stuck around watching the show. Another TT viewer, Ashflux McNulty, Casino, thanks. Dan La Rosa, Fry Bentos, Metaviews, Slinkermeyer, Snur. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit grumpy today trying to get the show to work. It's frustrating. On page 17, Sun has never cared if they did it. It would fuck off, yeah. On page 17, peddling hatred, pictures of Taliban fighters in pedalos, which, they pretend to be outraged by while also splashing in the paper. Sad news for Julia Bradbury, the TV presenter who has breast cancer and said she's going to do her best to deal with that. Love to her family. I'm not going to press the battling metaphor. Simon Boyle's Bizarre is awful. Ready or Not, Fugees have reformed. And Billie Eilish has hair. On page 21, Queen Oti is Yugo's boss. Double Strictly champion Oti Mbosi is back in sequence and hoping to pull off a hat-trick with rugby ace Ugo Monye. The professional dancer won last year with comedian Bill Bailey and in 2019 with actor Kelvin Fletcher. Ugo says his routines will be a blur as he's ditching his glasses on the dance floor for fear of them landing on Anton de Beck's head. On the bottom of page 21, Wokey Cokey fear for Craig. Strictly Craig's Revel Horwood admits he has to watch what he says to contestants for fear of being cancelled by the woke brigade. Oh, shut up. No, I have tried that. There is literally nothing else running. There is literally nothing else running. And as far as I can, literally, I didn't change my set. It used to be the settings were absolutely fine. And then since then, there's been, I don't know. After I had to reinstall OBS, it started doing this. It never used to do it before. And it is honestly maddening. And now I don't want to spend the whole show pissing about with it. It's really irritating. Thank you. That's good advice. I'll try to... I will try just to fuck about with it again off screen and see if I can off stream and see if I can make it work. It's very frustrating. I don't know. Literally, I did nothing to change it, and it's like this. Right. Rooney and Vardy are lightweights. We'd have ripped each other's tits off, says Layla Roas. Footballers' Wives star on Wagatha Row. Footballers' Wives now on BritBox. I wonder if that's the reason they're writing about that. On the front of the goal supplement, Mark set no. Moyes, no regrets over Noble. Penalty sub call. West Ham 1, Manchester United 2. Another double-page spread about the Who Cares wins awards. I know the Woke Brigade only exists in tabloids. Yeah, they don't exist. Like, there is not a lot. There aren't hundreds of people out there trying to, even thousands of people out there trying to cancel anyone. People have got their own shit to deal with. Right, moving on. The Great Kids COVID jab debate gets a double-page spread. In Dear Deirdre this week, the photo casebook is Liv's Baby Sadness. Letters in Dear Deirdre today. I worry my girl has no friends. Should I let wife bed her Mr. Big? Not content with using very large sex toys. My wife tells me she now wants to try out the real thing. My husband can be kind, but he's also a tightwad. His loud snoring is driving me crazy, and bakery job is taking the rise. Today's £50 letter comes from David Webster of Taunton. He writes about Jimmy Greaves. Totally looks like a letter written by the Sun. Yeah. No, but thank you, Kinyu. I genuinely mean it. I really appreciate your help there, and I'm gonna fiddle about more and stuff, but it's like I'm running it on the fastest encoded preset and whatever. Today's ugly clothing item that you can get. First ugly clothing item is the fleece line cable knit zipper, all sizes, only £25. Will you look like this grey-haired zaddy here? No, you will not. You will not. Yeah, thanks, Kinyu. I might do that. To be honest with you, though, I'm not completely unaware about how this stuff works, and it just is odd. I don't know what happened. It's like there's a curse where I can't go on SK's stream directly from Discord without it working, without it breaking, but it works on other people's streams. It's really bizarre. May change the camera, may even upgrade the camera. Who knows? Who knows? Could be that we've got neighbours now who are using noise, issues with our line in, all kind of stuff. Anyway, on the back page in the sport, it's a funny old game. Jimmy Greaves, 1940 to 2021, and they make most of the sports section about Jimmy Greaves, including an absolute classic 70s Jimmy Greaves as Bear picture there. Bear Jimmy Greaves, take it in in its glory. I hope that's not a terms of service breach. Anyway, give me your scores for the Sun. Minus many 69s, I say. Non-tuple negative nice. Minus 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69 from me. Kin United 2, his last story is driving me crazy. Good of my wife to write in. Yeah, I mean, person in the room would agree with that with me. I have very bad sinuses. Fried as fuck face. When do the shows about people who've been cancelled? When they do shows about people who've been cancelled, why do they never interview Kevin Spacey or Armie Hammer? Well, yeah, exactly. Right, so yeah, scores for the Sun would be great. Yeah, sorry again for being grumpy about the encoding thing. It just sort of drives me crazy because there's no reason. Right, I'm going to do a speed round. 25 too much for that zip-up cardigan, absolutely. I'm going to do a speed round of the times. Also, the delay is interesting on this because there's a big delay between when you talk in the chat, but then I think there's always going to be some delay. Right, I'm going to try. There's going to be a lot of, like, if you think the scream's stuttering, there's going to be a lot of flapping about now as I attempt to do the Daily Telegraph in 1 minute to try and break the 1.5 minute personal best. I mean, this is basically impossible, but let's give it a go anyway. I mean, the benefit is it has got a separate sports section which we don't cover, so it could mean I could do it, but I doubt it. Right. Anyway, do give me your scores for the Daily Mail and tell me you're there. This feels like a cursed show today. Thank you for sticking with me. Another TT viewer, Ash Flats McNulty, big old boy. Excellent name. C122, H122, Casino Thanks, Dan La Rosa, Farage's Fuckface, always good to see you. Fry Bentos as well. Kin92, thanks a lot for being here. MetaViews, Rabid Frosties, love it. And Slinkermeyer, always appreciate you tuning in. Snur, also good to see you. Triple negative nice from Slinkermeyer. Right, let's do the 1 minute timer for the Telegraph. There we go. Boom. Right, front page of the Telegraph. Of course, Jimmy Greaves is on there. Boris Johnson in the US. Nick Timothy going on about the deal with Australia. Laura Schilling, weird comment section thing. Laundry habits may have to change if we're to save the planet. And apparently 1 in 3 people have rejected full-time office work. I'm not surprised. Moving on very quickly. There's a giant pumpkin at the Chelsea Flower Show. We might come back to that picture. The National Trust is getting slagged off again. The BBC has apparently been told to stop deception over stars' pay. Is that right? Nancy Pelosi visited the set of Coronation Street, extremely cursed. Black Lives class for NHS staff was wasteful, is the latest culture war story from the Telegraph. A third of staff refused full-time job, we covered that. Half of fraud cases dropped without suspect identified. Biden under fire for chaos over Haitian migrant crisis. There's a thing with tiny cars, which we might come back to. In the... God damn it. Right. Right. Trying to go for 1 minute 30. 1 minute 30, because I'm just doing a reset. Because I've got stuck here now. Right, this is going to be 2 minutes. Right. Elsewhere in the comments section, Nick Timothy, David Green talking about authoritarian regimes. Jane Schilling, it's high time we shelved our hyperactive laundry habits. Speak for yourself. Tim Stanley, one of the most cursed people in the British media. The UK's woke gatekeepers are losing their grip. With government action and new media outlets, we're seeing how political correctness can be beaten. Who are these fucking woke gatekeepers? Does he mean the builders who laughed at him when he wore a bow tie? In the features section, how did AstraZeneca lose the vaccine race? Also in the features section, I gave up soap and never felt or smelt better, says Marina Fogel, wife of Ben Fogel. Why, though? The cold facts of the new cough-icket. Basically what you should do if you've got a cough but you don't have COVID. Camp Siegfried at the Old Vic gets 4 stars. And of course in the obits, it's Jimmy Greaves, as well as Ruben Klamer, the toy inventor and designer of the Game of Life. And that's it. 2 minutes probably for the Telegraph. Nowhere near personal best, but then it's a bit of a cursed, struggling day today. Right, anyway. There was one thing I was going to show you, which is the giant pumpkin, which is quite... Look, here's the giant pumpkin. Here is a baby sat on the giant pumpkin. Here is the giant pumpkin being loaded into the flower show by some men. Right. All right, we're going to move on to the Times and then the Daily Mail. You know how we do. Hang on. Today's show is very cursed. Right, going to move on to the Times. Person in the room passing by behind there. Hello, love. I'm having the worst cursed show today. Nothing is going right. Hello. Right, here we go. Here's the Times. In the promotional box at the top of the Times front page, love and regrets. James Cracknell on his second marriage. I really don't understand why I should give a fuck about this. On the right-hand side of the page, another thing I don't understand why we should give a fuck about. Kevin Maher, the columnist, writes, "My problem with the hairy bikers." I mean, take it up with them. Moving down the page, the next story. It's payback time on climate. Johnson warns wealthiest nation. Again, pretending like we have have power over the US or China or Russia, which we absolutely don't. The main story, taxpayers face bill for propping up energy firms. This is the curse of the privatised energy sector continues. Absolute joke. On the right-hand side, football says farewell to Greasy, the goal king. Well, of course, that story is going to be in there. The big pumpkin festival, the fight of the £800 monster pumpkin from Essex gets covered in the Times as well. A good picture of it on a forklift. Woke gatekeepers, fuck off, indeed. On the bottom of page 3 of the Times, mystery woman found on ocean rock. A woman who speaks perfect English has been found in a rock in the sea off a Croatian island, but is unable to say who she is or how she got there. There is a story later in this paper talking about the MP John Stonehouse who faked his own death. So, just saying. Patel's department casts doubt on new channel migrants law. Evidence that Priti Patel's overhaul of asylum laws will reduce channel migrant crossings is limited, according to the Home Secretary's own department. Since when does she give a shit about evidence? Strictly come down. That was so loud. That was like a comment on the stream.
Apologies.
On page 5, Strictly Come Dancing, the first episode of the new series gets 4 stars. Tributes to Boise, pride of Peckham and the Balkans. Funny thing, Only Fools and Horses is extremely popular in Serbia of all places. He was an honorary citizen of Serbia. On page 6, supermarkets race to secure CO2 as officials talks stall. Boris Johnson says he's going to challenge Jeff Bezos. Bollocks. Slinkermania says the video has paused me mid-flail. It's very enjoyable. The delay on this video is insane. I've got the delay is like about 40 seconds.
What's going on? Because nobody else is using anything.
I think our internet's something bad. Like it really has gone bad recently. Minister fell on sword to help improve diversity is the claim. I think that's the minister there. Briefing that one in. On page 9, painters fake their date with art history. Beware the date on that modernist masterpiece, a leading art experts warned. A few too many of the artists were keen on rewriting history to sell some canvases. A new book exploring the influential art movement when new isms such as Cubism, Fauvism and Futurism were being created within months of each other has pulled together the breadth of deception that was also present. Many painters in various movements, including Kazimir Malevich, Ernst Ludwig Kirchner and Mikhail Larionov, were guilty of having given their artworks an earlier date of creation to appear as if they had been prime movers in a new ism. Yeah, but art movement isms are a creation of critics largely anyway, so who cares? Is the art good or not? Folic acid is going to be added to flour to help reduce birth defects. It's said that that's done in a lot of other countries and works well. A music professor has allegedly quit over cancel culture, apparently. Kinu92, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. That's fantastic. Tier 1 sub to C122H122, a tier 1 sub to Big Old Boy, a tier 1 sub to Chrisman3, a tier 1 sub to Palho, and a tier 1 sub to the Research Arena. Much appreciated. Thank you for doing that. That has made this quite annoying day marginally better. On page 17, members of the Stonehouse family are in battle. His daughter versus her cousin over their respective books about the Labour MP who tried to fake his own death. On page 20, that was in the 70s. On page 21, half of borrowers will still have a mortgage at 65. Yes, it's because we have a broken economy and housing market. On page 23, I won't let fear win, says TV presenter with breast cancer. That's Julia Bradbury. Very much, that's horrendous for her and her family. BBC apology for family of murdered girl. The mother of a murdered schoolgirl who said her daughter's clothes were taken by Martin Bashir and never returned have got an apology. Hello, SK, good to see you tuning in from the Business Factory. It's a very cursed and technically fraught show today, but your presence is always extremely welcome. On page 25, a story that I may write about in the newsletter tomorrow. Complete bullshit story claiming that Nixon asked Elvis to spy on Lennon. Their evidence for doing that story, literally just Bob Harris, who presented the old go whistle test, saying he thought that happened on a podcast. That's it. Single source with an I reckon. Complete bullshit. King United 2 is milking the overtime budget at work by sitting watching the stream on the clock, so might as well pay that out forward. You're a good one, King United 2. Claire Foges takes a break from attacking gypsies, Romanies and traveller people to have a go at people that she considers don't speak properly. No, Professor, speaking properly still matters, she said. She was clearly desperate for a column topic this week. Trevor Phillips says, we must cherish our freedom to ridicule MPs. None of Johnson's cabinet should be beyond criticism, whatever their gender, colour or creed, he says. Libby Purvis argues that we should get rid of street lights so that more people could look at the stars. Completely quixotic. C122H122 says, are we with Sky? We are with Sky, yes. Right, the birthdays today. And we don't have many other options, sadly, either. Sophia Loren is 87. Professor Jim Al-Khalili, the theoretical physicist, broadcaster and writer, and the vice president of the Humanists UK, is 59. Fred Arruda, the ambassador of Brazil to the UK, is 64. Professor Maureen Baker, the chairwoman of the professional standards body for the Royal College of General Practitioners until 2016, is 63. Jean-Claude Bivet, the president of LVMH Watch Division, which has Hublot, Tag Heuer, and Zenith until 2018, is 72. Lloyd Blankfein, senior chairman of Goldman Sachs, chairman and chief executive till 2018, and is 67. Rod Bransgrove, the entrepreneur, chairman of Hampshire County Cricket Club, 71. Nicky Caro, the film director, known for Mulan 2020, is 55. David Chihuly, the glass sculptor, is 80. Sir Jeremy Child, the actor, is 77. Andrew Davis, the screenwriter, is 85. Lord Geoffrey Deere, the HM Inspector of Constabulary until 1997, is 84. Laura Decker, sailor, youngest person to circumnavigate the globe single-handedly, is 26. Caroline Flint, Labour MP for Don Valley until 2019, and Shadow Energy and Climate Change Secretary until 2015, is 60. Douglas Gordon, the artist and Turner Prize winner in 1996, is 55. David Haig, the actor, Killing Eve, writer of Pressure, also known for The Thick of It, is 66. Lee Hall, the screenwriter of Billy Elliot, is 55. John Hall, the conductor and saxophonist, is 65. Lord Robin Janvrin, the deputy chairman of HSBC Private Bank till 2016 and private secretary to the Queen until 2007, is 75. Sir Robert Jay, the High Court judge and leading counsel to Leveson Inquiry until 2012, is 62. General Sir Gary Johnson, MC, Commander-in-Chief of Allied Forces, Northern Europe until 1994, is 84. Mark Lever, Chief Executive of Help Force, the NHS volunteering group, is 61. Sir Keith Lindblom, Lord Justice of Appeal, Senior President of Tribunals, is 65. George R.R. Martin, novelist and creator of Game of Thrones, is 73. Get on with the books, George. And Joe Pavey, long-distance runner and five-time Olympian between 2000 and 2016, is 48. Finally, Jose Rivero, the golfer, is 66. On this day in 1970, the Russian space probe Luna 16 landed on the moon. On September 24th, it returned to Earth with samples of basalt. The last word today goes to Albert Schweitzer, the Nobel Peace Prize winner in 1952, from his book Reverence of Life. The only way out of today's misery is for people to become worthy of each other's trust. Slingerman, I just spotted you censored Dr. Manhattan's Manhattan Gove's Wang Doodle in the background, and I am chuckling. I didn't actually add that piece of paper in his hand. I think that piece of paper and hand placement is actually from the original frame that I've stuck his face on. Right, on the front page of the Times too, did I prioritise working and sacrifice too much? James Cracknell on his second marriage and a second chance. I mean, honestly, who gives a fuck? On page 32, Afghan farms will keep supplying world's opium. Weight loss helps rival to trim Trudeau's lead in the polls. Really? We're bringing the fat shaming to politics coverage here. Jobless pilots fly drones to keep great whites at bay in Australia is the story. In Austria, TV falls down over focus on climber's rear. The global body for sport climbing has apologised to a female climber from Austria after television cameras zoomed in on her buttocks at 2 World Championship events. First lingering shot of Joanna Faber was shown on ORF, the national broadcaster, while she completed the bouldering semi-final Innsbruck. Weeks later, a cameraman took similar footage at a tournament in Moscow. Faber is 23, she's a professional climber from Graz, was bombarded with messages on social media after the clip from Innsbruck was published on the YouTube channel of the International Federation for Sport Climbing, which is based in Switzerland and includes speed climbing and bouldering. Honestly, what the fuck, she wrote. wrote, or WTF, she wrote, on Instagram after the first incident. Having this slow-motion clip showed on national TV and YouTube livestream is disrespectful and upsetting. I'm an athlete and here to show my best performance. To be honest, I do really feel so embarrassed to know thousands of people saw this. We need to stop sexualizing women in sports and start to appreciate the performance. Yes, of course. And what a disgusting thing to have happen to her. Apparently, a penguin colony on Boulders Beach, part of the Table Mountain National Park in South Africa, is under threat from killer bees. It's like, Mike, get rid of streetlights, make vulnerable people even more terrified to walk the streets after dark. I know it's an insane thing to suggest there. In the United States, there's a story about old enemies, Democrats and Republicans uniting against a nuclear dump in Texas. There is a manhunt for the fiancé of a missing travel blogger. FBI agents swarmed through a nature reserve in Florida yesterday looking for a hiker whose fiancé went missing during a cross-country trip. Brian Laudry, 23, has been named as a person of interest in the disappearance of Gabby Petito, 22, who has not been seen since a holiday in Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming last month. Laudry returned from the trip alone on September 3rd, heading to his parents' house in Northport, Florida, and refusing to speak to police. Oh my. C122, H122, stop praising bankers. I'm not praising bankers. Mafia plotted to murder son of top magistrate in Italy. Well, you know, that's kind of what mafias do. Mark Littlewood, who is the Director General of the Institute for Economic Affairs, is calls social care a Ponzi scheme. Well, redacted. Think tank bosses would know about redacted, wouldn't they? Moving on, lots of other stuff happening in the business of various interests. Jimmy Greaves is obviously the main obituary. John Chalice gets a large obituary too. And in the sport, England's greatest goal scorer, Jimmy Greaves, 1940 to 2021. Absolutely amazing photo of him here in the Spurs dressing room, and he's got a fag on. Slingermeyer says, happy birthday to Douglas Gordon. Huge influence when I was at uni. That's cool. Right, we are now going to move on finally to the Daily Mail. I'm ahead of you. I'm operating in the future. You are seeing this sent back from the future because of the stupid delay today. I'm going to blame on that. I'm going to blame on you, neighbours. I've no reason to really, but it'll make me feel better. Right, finally we move on to the Daily Mail. Today's Daily Mail is do you want the times twos down there? One new one's there. Okay, Daily Mail. Front page of the Daily Mail, of course, more Jimmy Greavesy, legend who tackles his demons and won. Does George R.R. still count as a novelist when he doesn't release any books? He's promising us that last book will get done. I have my doubts. The main story, let's get back to seeing GPs face to face, and they highlight stories of someone who says she lost her husband because he did not get a GP appointment, and therefore what he was suffering with was not picked up quick enough, and a woman who says her mother was neglected as well. Of course, the Daily Mail is saying it demands this happens. But, it does that because it knows quite often in the past it's got away with it. On page 3 of the paper, absolutely just a ridiculously, horribly grim story about Adele after her new figure. Now Adele showing off her new man. By showing off, she attended a wedding. That's it. Showing off is bizarre. And also this new figure thing, it's the same figure. She just lost some weight. It hasn't changed her character or her talent or her worth as a person. It's just pathetic. On pages 4 and 5, face-to-face slots down 80 million. There's 80 million fewer face-to-face GP slots. Yes, it's not good. It's not good, but there are reasons for it, and the Daily Mail's campaign is always sinister, really. Camilla Cavendish, who's head of policy unit at number 10 under David Cameron, and also a former journalist, backbone of the NHS. So why do so many GPs avoid patients? I think this is complete bullshit. Sigma, Dr. Manhattan, you thought it was a terms of service thing. No, it wasn't. To be honest, I would have probably left the blue wang there if it had been there. On page 9, human swan in horror crash. What a really grim headline to put on the story of a woman in a serious paraglider crash, particularly as her support paraglider colleague died in that crash. Fuel crisis, call to axe green levy. Alex Brummer says, time our leaders stop being so naive on energy. There's more on Jimmy Greaves. Robert Hardman, who writes about everything, as if he sort of knows about everything. Football icon, an £8 a week, who beat the bottle and became a TV favourite, is the coverage of Jimmy Greaves. That's a real Wikipedia check effort. The Prime Minister has said, we will be judged by history. I judge him already, and it's not favourable. On page 17, more about John Chalice, and they cannot separate him from the character he played. Boise, Boise's dodgy car dealer who gave Del Boy a run for his money is the headline on that. On page 19, spray tan sequins and a shimmering silver fox. It can only be strictly my loves, writes Jan Noir. On page 21, love is in the air. Flyboarder stuns crowd with 007 style tricks and a marriage proposal. Honestly, anyone who does a sort of big public marriage proposal should be made to live alone forever. They've got an extract from Jimmy Carr's new memoir. It's apparently a riveting self-help memoir. Blackout drunk to comedy addict, he says. Apparently his mother was a drinker. On page 25, prostate cancer drugs, half risk of dying is the thought. Well, that would be good if that's true. On page 26, pianist killer set for release, despite judge saying he must never go free. Of course, we should just let the Daily Mail decide how the justice system works. On pages 28 and 29, an extract from a book about Kim Philby and his wife, who begged to join him in Russia and then basically treated appallingly. On this day, September 20th, 2021, from the Daily Mail archive, in 1965, the craze for PVC has reached its zenith. We had plastic Max, boots and bags. Now comes the plastic dress. When it gets dirty, you just sponge it down. It's available at the end of the week in C&A for 5.59 shillings and 11 pence. Was that a lot? Was that a lot, do you reckon?
I'm not that old, I don't know.
No, I'm not saying you would know. I'm just like, I can't get any bearing on whether that was a lot. September 20th, 1972, sweeping new laws to clean up Britain are demanded today in the 520-page report on pornography prepared by the Longford Commission. And they are essential because Britain is becoming subjected to an ever-increasing commercial onslaught of pornography, which will corrupt the nation. They could take that line, republish it now and pretend it was new stuff. Happy birthday to Joe Pavey, 48, the Devon-born long-distance runner, first British track athlete to complete at 5 Olympic Games, and to George R.R. Martin, who needs to finish his book. Also born on this day, Upton Sinclair, the American Pulitzer Prize-winning writer, made his name with the novel The Jungle, his 1906 expose of the meatpacking industry, and also he was born in 1878. And to Sir John Dankworth, 1927 to 2010, London-born band leader, was the first British jazz musician to be knighted. He composed the themes for The Avengers and Tomorrow's World and was married to Cleo Lane. On September 20th, 1976, the BBC aired the first episode of I, Claudius. And in 2011, President Obama repealed the US military's don't ask, don't tell policy, allowing openly gay women and men to serve for the first time. We really need to get rid of the phrase openly